Turning now to your community focus, we continue to introduce you to the candidates who are running to replace retiring Congressman Jim Langevin in Rhode Island's 2nd Congressional District. Here today, Democrat and State Treasurer Seth Magaziner. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So 60 seconds or less, Treasurer, why do you want to be Rhode Island's next congressman?
Well, I'm running for Congress because we need leaders in Washington who can cut through the nonsense and get real things done for working people in our state. When I talk to Rhode Islanders, people are worried. They're worried about the rising cost of living. They're worried about their kids' education. They're worried about what's happening in Ukraine and what impact that may have here. But I believe in America, and I believe that we can tackle big problems. My priorities are going to be to help people keep up with the cost of living by lowering the cost of health care, lowering the cost of energy, by bringing more manufacturing jobs back home to Rhode Island so that we're not dependent on these other countries around the world with autocratic regimes, transitioning to a clean energy economy and creating lots of good jobs in the process, and making sure that we are building up our public health infrastructure so that we are better prepared if there's ever another pandemic again to respond quickly without having to shut down businesses or schools. Those are some of my priorities. I do believe we can get big things done, but we need the right kind of leadership. And the thing that I think will set me apart is that I've shown over the last 7 years as state treasurer that I can get big things done, having led a statewide school construction program that's put thousands of people to work fixing schools, created a clean energy funding program that's developed alternative energy all across Rhode Island. I've shown I can get big things done as treasurer, and I'll do the same thing, take the same approach to the United States Congress. Last
time we had you here on 12 News at 4, you were running as a candidate for governor. Now, obviously, you're running for Congress. For folks at home who might say he doesn't care what office he holds, he just is looking for a way to win, what do you say to that?
Well, every decision that I've made in my time in public life has been through the lens of how can I best deliver results for Rhode Islanders. And I just think that with the challenges we're facing now, economic challenges like inflation, global challenges like climate change, we need strong leaders in Washington more than ever who have the right values and have a track record of delivering results. Again, in my last 7.5 years as state treasurer, I've shown that I can get big things done, worked with people to solve problems, and I'll take that same approach to Congress.
Now that you've exited the governor's race, who are you endorsing?
Well, I'll support whoever the Democratic nominee is, and I look forward to working with whoever the next slate of office holders are, because I think voters expect us all to work together collaboratively to solve problems and get things done, and so that's the approach that I'll take.
You'll be voting in the Democratic primary, though.
Yeah.
Who are you going to be voting for?
You know, I'm going to keep that to myself, but I will be supporting whoever the Democratic nominee is.
I want to talk to you about some policy issues. A growing number of Democrats in Washington expressing concerns about a potential flood of migrants coming over the border as Title 42 is due to expire. Do you support Title 42 coming to an end?
So what we need is an approach to the border that allows for a safe and an orderly system. And the Biden administration needs to come up with a plan for what they're going to do when that expires, when Title 42 expires. More than that, we need both Democrats and Republicans to stop the grandstanding, stop the finger pointing, and actually sit down together to work on a real plan. So that's the approach that I'll bring to Washington. I'm not a grandstander. I'm not the kind of person who is melding off on social media. I just care about enacting good policies and getting things done. That's the approach I'll take to immigration and every issue.
If you were in Congress today, though, and it came up for a vote, how would you vote? Would you vote to extend it, to terminate it?
Well, listen, the Biden administration needs to come up with a plan. Title 42 was a pandemic-related response that was not designed to last forever and should not last forever, but there also needs to be a real system to ensure that we have an orderly process and a safe process at the border and that our laws are enforced.
I want to also ask you about something that you announced back in March, the Rhode Island Pension Fund selling off its Russian assets following the invasion of Ukraine. That still hasn't happened, and we actually learned that Russia closed its stock market, preventing that sale from happening the same day that you called for that emergency meeting on a vote. Was this just a stunt?
No, that shows that it's working. So, as a new father, I am horrified by what Russia is doing in Ukraine, as I think all Rhode Islanders are. And I wanted to make sure that Rhode Island was in no way supporting Russia's aggression toward a peaceful and democratic country. So I took fast action. I made Rhode Island one of the first states in the country to enact a policy that we will not invest in Russia anymore. And collectively, investors all across the world all joined that call, and as a result, Russia was forced to shut down their stock market and endure some real financial pain as a result. So the purpose of this move was to make sure that we were doing everything in our power to put pressure on Russia because what they're doing is not right. And the fact that they had to shut down their stock market for a month, the fact that it is still not operating as normal even today, is a sign that this collective action of Rhode Island and investors across the world to put pressure on Russia economically is having an effect.
Just 15 seconds left. You have said that you plan to move into the 2nd District. You don't currently live there. How's the house hunt going? It's
going. It's a tough market, but we are committed to it. And I will say, in my last 7.5 years as treasurer, I have spent time, real time, in every community in the 2nd Congressional District, working with people to solve problems. There is no one in this race who knows District 2 in and out as well as I do.
General Treasurer Seth Magaziner, that is all the time that we have. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And he joins 6 other Democrats who are vying for this seat, including Omar Ba, Joy Fox, Sarah Morgenthau, Cameron Moquin, Michael Neary, and David Siegel, and Republicans Alan Fung and Bob Lancia, also in the running to replace Congressman Langevin. And looking ahead to tomorrow now, when Ashley Kalis will be joining us live in studio to talk about her campaign to become the state's next governor.